Hi, intuitive viewers. I'm back in the middle of the week. You'll be sick of me by by the end of the weeks, but here I am. I was going to look into a few things. First of all, I feel like we kind of had an introduction to Fred Trump Jr., so I'm going to call him back in to ask about this book that's coming out from his daughter. I am fascinated. I just thought I'll do that live with you guys because I think that I thought you guys would be interested. I'm very interested and very intrigued by this whole thing. I also had saw a tweet this morning about Trump. I guess it's in the John Bolton book about Trump asking China for help. And I had talked about how I saw other countries kind of getting involved in the election or trying to or wanting to or whatever. And I saw China, Saudi Arabia, Israel, and Russia. And so I don't actually think that they'll all necessarily get involved, but I do feel like they have been encouraged, or they feel like they can, or maybe they're going to do something. Russia's a special case because I feel like Putin is very he's just ballsy. Like he has that kind of like, he just thinks he can get away with it. It's very mob like to me. It's just like, just do it, he just feels like he can get away with it. And, he pretty much has so far. So I think his time of getting away with it is coming to an end. But he just kind of does stuff and just is like, what are you going to do about it? So to me, it's very mob boss feeling. It has that feel to it. So we have China, so that, apparently Trump did ask China to get involved. And now we know, and I feel like it's unlikely that they will. Like I said, the FBI is all over this. They're all over it. So even with Russia, they just know. So I feel like we're kind of heading this off at the pass, whether Trump knows it or not. And yeah, it's not going to be good for him. But it does show you how desperate he is to not go to jail, and he is going to do whatever he has to do. And so this is going to be a few crazy months of weird stuff from him. And I will tell you, though, that the military, they don't really support him en masse. They don't see him as stable, really. They see him as kind of like a loose cannon. And they also, he also is kind of I'm sure there are Trump supporters in the military as individuals. And I'm sure there are racists in the military as individuals, just like there are kind of racists in all walks of life. But he's kind of the opposite of what the military is all about. The military is all about kind of this brother sisterhood of soldiers, helping one another, coming to each other's aid, being more of a unit than individuals. It's all about the collective, and it's about service and sacrifice. And he's really the opposite of all those things. So even in that way, it's not a fit. So, and I feel like a lot of them think he's just kind of like crazy. He's kind of nuts. So that's how I see them as seeing him. So he is going to have to go to these outside kind of, whatever you'd want to say, these outside hired guns kind of entities that he was going with. He'll have to rely on them, and kind of militia kind of things. He'll have to rely on that if he's going to make any kind of move in that direction. And I don't even know if they would come to his aid, knowing that the military is going to work against them. None of these militia, people want to take on the U.S. military. So, and we don't want that to happen. And so, I do think that part of it, I think there'll be little things here and there, support for him. I did see something about a fire. There's a fire, and I do feel like might be around the weekend, but so there'll be people that that support him, that are kind of individuals taking it upon themselves, but I don't see any kind of big organized thing. I feel like people put the kibosh on that pretty quickly. So we'll see. I did want to say though that I did see something about Russia crossing a border, and I don't know if it means like invading another country or just kind of expanding or being like intimidating on a border or something, but I'm seeing something about Russia on a border. I'm not, I can't quite make out what it is, but it feels kind of like, it feels like they're hovering, like that, like, nope, like they're trying to instill fear in a country. So I feel like it's, I don't know that they actually go in or actually invade, but it's kind of like we're right here, we're ready to pounce. That's the feeling I get. And there's also something about this White House. There's a person. It's either one or two people in the White House that are getting ready to reveal stuff, come out, shed light on things. I feel like they're getting their ducks in a row right now, and they're getting ready to pounce. They're getting ready to come out. So there you go. Okay, I'm gonna call. Oh, I also wanted to mention somebody had asked me about these. There have been, I guess, black men found hanging, and I did get a picture of something, but I don't know if it's to all of them or just to, the vision that I have is just one of them or all of them. But what I'm seeing, and it's a very weird picture. That's why I'm just going to share the picture that I'm getting and the kind of feeling that goes along with it. I'm seeing a large tree and a pickup truck backing up to the tree, and the bed coming down, the like the gate for the truck coming down. That's it. That's all I'm seeing, and it's dark. It's dark. So it's almost like a silhouette. It's like, it looks like silhouettes of like a tree and a truck backing up and the bed coming down. I'm sure I'll get more on this. I haven't had a lot of time to meditate on this. So, but that's the first image that I got, and that's kind of where it stopped. So it's either that I'm not supposed to know yet, or I'm not supposed to know anything, or this is unfolding right now. We're going to get to understand what's happening. The feeling with it is, with that image, the feeling is kind of like they're like, whatever's happening, they're trying to hurry, and it's like, be quiet, be quiet. So this one, at least one is suspicious. It's weird. So, but I don't know. That's the only thing I'm seeing. So I can't really comment on, like, say that's all of them or just the one. I'm not really sure. So I'm going to kind of leave that there. I don't want to start a big controversy or anything like that. That's just what I'm seeing, and all I can really do is tell you what I see and what I feel, and I know that that's kind of limited, but that is all there is right now. And as things come in, I'll let you know. But that's what I'm seeing for that right now. Okay, I'm going to try to call in Fred Trump Jr. so we can ask about this, his daughter's book, and if it's going to get out and what's there. Last time I did Fred Trump Jr., we got an orb, so maybe we'll get another orb. But there was an orb that kind of went like right in front of me. It was almost like he was just kind of waiting to come on. But I do feel like he's very eager to talk. Last time I felt the same thing. I felt like he was eager to share. He wanted to share. I feel like he's very much in this realm right now. I feel like he's very aware of what's going on. He's part of the, people, spirits observing what's happening, that he's around the family. It's like he's very much here. So I feel like he's, for whatever reason, he's kind of easy to talk to. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do it how I the king one that I did, the Dr. King one that I did, it was a little bit different because I was trying to do it word for word and kind of as closely as I could, and do it kind of like as I was hearing it as kind of a first person, so it felt more like a real channeling. But so this is going to be more that I'm just going to kind of tell you my impressions of what he's saying and how I'm feeling from him. Okay, so I'm going to ask him to come in. I'm just going to be drawing on my pad like I normally do to kind of get quickly into kind of a meditative state. So just 1 second. In the background, you're going to hear I don't know if it's a drill or if it's like a lawnmower or something, but sorry about that. It's not going to bother me if it doesn't bother you. So he's starting by saying something like, my dear sweet girl, or my sweet girl. It's not me. He's talking about his daughter. It's not me. He's talking about his daughter. So he's saying like, and when I say he's saying, it just means my impression, how I'm feeling it, what I feel like he's trying to convey. And what I feel like he's saying is that she's wanted to do this for a long time. This is not a spur of the moment thing. This has been like a long time coming. This has, and the experience of writing the book was very therapeutic. It helped her put a lot of things to rest for herself. He was very much involved in it because he helped her with, he's saying, from the spirit realm, he helped her by helping her recall things from her memory that she'd forgotten or that were harder to remember. He helped her with that. She's going to shatter the myth of this family, what they think they're portraying, because most people know they aren't what they say they are, or a lot of people know they aren't what they say they are. That it's a facade. It's a built up persona myth. They have tried to kind of show themselves as one thing, but really there's a lot more going on, and they have kind of a kind of a dark history as a family going back generations. But it's going to shatter that myth, that facade. Particularly for Don. He calls him Don for some reason, but he's particularly for him. And she kind of tells the truth about him as well, her dad, and he's saying, it's fine. I bless it. I bless this endeavor, because her whole thing, why she's doing this, or why she's her whole idea about this, and the kind of the foundation of it, I guess, is that knowledge is power. Once you know who these people are, once you know about them, you can you have the ability to kind of see them for what they are. You can make better decisions. You can understand what you're seeing better, because it's layers and layers. He's like, it's layers and layers and layers of like dysfunction, and on top of that, like criminal behavior that was encouraged by the dad, and that was kind of particularly from his boys. It's where he's saying, like, in a family where manipulation and like lying and cheating, those are like celebrated virtues. That it was that they had like really, his dad had very weird priorities and screwed up priorities, and he was actually kind of a just kind of a mean guy, not a very nice guy. And he's saying that Donald Trump has a lot of the traits of his dad. They're very similar in their kind of ruthlessness, in their anything, whatever means necessary, that kind of thing. He was more, he being Fred Trump Jr. was a little more sensitive, a little more aware of other people's feelings. They didn't have that. And he's saying for Donald Trump, it's a combination. It's like he was kind of born kind of not feeling that stuff, not having a lot of empathy for other people, but it was nurtured. That side of him was nurtured by his father. They felt very, they were always competing for dad's affection and dad's attention. He's saying there was no affection. He's saying the attention of his dad. He wasn't available much, and so you had to kind of pretend to be interested in the stuff he was interested in to get his attention. That's why for a long time they thought Fred Trump Jr. would go into the business, and he tried. He's like, I just couldn't, I didn't have that part. I didn't see the my whole thing was wanting to escape this stuff. It wasn't wanting to get more in depth into it. It was it's almost like trying to escape the mud, the muck, trying to get out of it. That was, and then the drinking, because he's like, he's saying I didn't do things I was proud of, and drinking, he's saying drinking and drugs helped me kind of forget the bad stuff. And then I went into a different area of business so I could kind of be, it's like I was trying to absolve myself or get out of the mire of these people. But I had the brains. He's like, I had, I definitely had like the smarts, and he makes me feel like actually in life you would think he was quite friendly and like kind of gregarious and kind of confident. He came across that way, but he's saying, he didn't have that solid kind of I know who I am kind of confidence. It was so much of the family is built on a facade, a fakery. And so he's saying his daughter is a very authentic person. She really worked to be authentic and true. It made her, she was never comfortable with this fake, phony stuff. And losing him early on, it made her aware of how important it was to be who you really were, to not hide, not try and escape who you are, but face it head on. She's determined that everybody know exactly who these people are, so that they can make, they can be educated in their decision making, and they can know fully who these people are. She's pulling back the curtain. There is some anger there still. She's still angry about some things. She's still hurt about some things, but her main objective is to shatter the myth, tear back the curtain. This is who these people are. This is what they're about. This is where they come from. This is what their businesses and the things they do is built on. And Trump is going to be very, he's going to feel it. He's going to feel it in a way that he doesn't feel other things, because it is family. And it's going to bring back some things that his whole thing is like, he'll do a terrible thing and then just try to wipe it out of his mind. It's like his spirit has been so made so small that he can't hear it anymore. That part of him that tells him something's not a good idea, or that it's not nice, or it's not honest, or it's not, that part of him is so small, so tiny, and he does a horrible thing and then just moves on. Oh, interesting. He's saying that his relation, not Donald Trump, but Fred Jr., his relationship with his dad was very much like the relationship that Donald Trump had with Michael Cohen. And somewhat like his with Donald Trump as well, his dad with Donald Trump as well. But he said watching that reminded him of his wanting to please his dad, and yet knowing, I'm not that person. I'm not that kind of person. He wants us to know, and maybe Michael Cohen to know, that he was there to kind of administer to him in prison. He was there, Fred Trump Jr., because he knew how he felt. He knew the shame, the embarrassment of succumbing to doing awful things for awful people, and knowing it was awful, but yet not really seeing a different way around it. He felt like he did escape it eventually. Fred Trump Jr. saying, I felt like I escaped it eventually, but it took a lot of time, and I never really, I was always very conflicted about it. I was always conflicted. When you grow up with something, and you're there, his family's priorities are so screwed up, being raised in that way, it is, you don't know what's normal. He's saying this is evidence to, like, the viewers. He's like, the evidence to the viewers of how the universe is so good at correcting, self-correcting, people and situations. My girl is helping to kind of set things right in a small way, but it's part of that correction that's going to be happening. And he says from here on out, the as far as even like illegal things, wrongs that Donald has done, it's going to be corrected in some way, shape, or form. He's asking the viewers, it's so weird, asking like you guys to please to not get too caught up or angry about, is he going to pay for this? How is he going to pay for this? Because he will. It's the way the universe works, and sometimes it part of it is the truth coming out. That is part of the payback. Because for him, the whole thing is keeping everything hidden. Everything's in the background. That was very much like their dad. He's saying that his dad wanted to hide certain things and then have other things out in front. look what a flashy spender I am, but don't look at how I got the money, that kind of thing. So there's this duality. And so just laying that duality out there is it's half of their game is going to be gone. And so some of this stuff is just the universe correcting things. And so have faith in that. Have faith in the fact that things will be made right and set right eventually. And sometimes these things take time, and they take the right people kind of stepping up, standing up, and doing these things. But it happens. He's like, don't get caught up in that. Worry about, or he's saying like to put your energy and efforts into your own small way of setting things right, even in your own life. Look for that balancing act that we all need to kind of like making your own life in balance, and then doing your little part to make sure that everything else is everything else has a balance to it. He's showing me like the protests. He's like, that's a way that individuals are coming together to make a balance, to make something balance out, to show that, to make sure there's justice. That's a kind of a balance, and everything is about that however you want to put it. Whether you want to say, he's saying like universe, but God, source energy, whatever you want to say. That's what it's all about. Is kind of trying to find this balance, and so have faith in that the balance will be found, and that the Trump family, he's saying the family will be paying for these things one way or another. It's how this stuff works. It's like, it's just how it works. It is what it is. Okay, I'm going to thank him for coming in, because he did a really good job, and I felt I could feel he actually is like, I can tell that he's very excited and happy about this coming out. It's like it's part of the process is being played out, and so he's happy about it. I could tell it was, and like I said, I think I said it before, he has a very sweet spirit. It doesn't feel heavy or like sad or anything. It feels very kind of light and up. And when I feel like I'm talking to him, it feels like a young man. It doesn't feel like an old man or something. It feels like a younger man, and kind of having that vitality of youth. That's what it feels like. So I just wanted to let you guys know that. And I feel like what's happening now, it's almost like he's happier about the way things seem to be moving. So, yeah. And I get that dizzy feeling. It's almost like when energy comes in and when it kind of like leaves you, it's just like you get in a mode, and then I feel like when it goes, you get that dizzy feeling. And sometimes when it comes in, or when they're really trying to emphasize something, you kind of get that dizzy kind of woo feeling. But it's always a confirmation, though, that something's here. I don't know, we'll see how accurate it is, but something's definitely here. So, okay, guys. So I hope that helps you guys, and I hope that you have gotten something out of this. And I'm looking forward to doing classes. I've kind of put readings on hold. I am going to be reaching out to people on the wait list. So don't ask about readings right now, because I will resume after I get done with the classes and mentoring sessions. I'll resume readings then. So don't worry. And if you have questions for me, about political things, or things just stuff you want me to look into, or anything like that. Somebody did want me to look into the royal family, and the only thing that came up for me with the royal family was that the queen is very, to me, she seemed very distraught and sad about this stuff with Andrew, and that Andrew's one of her favorite people. Like, she just loves him. And so this stuff with Epstein and with Andrew coming up, she's been really heartbroken about it. It's been really hard for her. And she's been very kind of depressed about it, kind of sad. And you think of all the, especially if you watch The Crown, all the things the Queen has gone through, all the things she's seen in her life. To have something like this, to me, it feels very devastating. Like she's been devastated by this, very sad, very heartbroken about it. That it tells you, you know, where her heart really is. You know, it's definitely, you can tell when you look into this particular thing, it's been very hard for her. But that was the thing that jumped out, was just how difficult she was finding this stuff with Andrew. So whatever that's worth. And I hope everyone's doing well. If you want to, thank you so much. Thank you so much for reaching out to Cassie and looking at her blog and following her. She is over the moon. She's so happy. And, you know, as parents, we just want our kids to be happy and safe and, you know, all those things. So thank you so much. And we'll keep the link below, just so you can, check out her blog. She's doing a blog about film, and she's in film school right now. So that's what she's doing to kind of deal with the time she has on her hands in a productive way. So I want to really support that. And yeah, I hope you guys are doing well. I am sending some money in our name, to the intuitive viewers to the ACLU. I feel like there's a lot of stuff, a lot of cases coming up, a lot of things coming up with that are going to end up in court. So I just felt like that was a good place to place the money right now. I give, every month I give to charity in Intuitiview's name, and that's what I picked this month. So I hope that it also reaches out to the people that are in the camps as well. So I know there are, families still struggling to get here. So, and their rights are being violated as they try to get into the country. So I want to help with that in any way that we can. So good job, because that's in your name. So all right, guys, have a good one. I will see you next time.